Hey everyone, I'm Jen Mayer and I'm back in the new year with another year of small group extra and midweek moments. And we start in our preaching series Unstuck. And the question that I want to ask is, what does the Serenity Prayer, a dead car battery, and three wise men have to teach us about getting unstuck? So you might recall the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. In a year of pandemic, it can be hard to figure out or have the wisdom to know the difference. And so I thought what might be helpful is to tell the story of the dead car battery. So imagine yourself going out to your car with a long list of things you need to do that day. And you get in and you try and turn your car over and it doesn't start. Instead of that nice engine hum, you get the vroom, vroom, vroom. So what's the first thing you likely do? Just keep doing it. Just keep trying to turn the car over, thinking it'll work, it'll work, it'll work. And you might actually add to that some verbal encouragement to add some bargaining to the denial. Come on, I know you can start. I promise if you do, I will get you that oil change and that car wash that I've been promising you, right? And you keep trying to turn it over, and then you kind of realize it's not working, and you might be slamming your fist on the steering wheel, and all of a sudden, you're calling the car all sorts of names. Maybe that's a little too much in my personality, but anyway, there's definitely anger at the situation. Then at some point, probably pretty quickly, you sink back into the driver's seat, you stop trying to turn it over, and you just have this overwhelming moment of sadness of your day is ruined and here's everything that's going to go wrong, and you probably start making the list of I'm not going to get this and then I got to do this and what's wrong with the car and do I need to get it to the mechanic and that's going to be such a hassle and how am I going to get picked up and all of that. And then again, it's a car battery, so it's not the end of the world. You probably within another minute or two have whipped out your cell phone or gone back into the house and started calling people. I'm gonna be late. Hey, can you come look at my car? AAA, my battery's dead. I don't know why. I need to get it towed. Whatever. Acceptance. So you've probably seen those five terms before: denial, bargaining, anger, sadness, and acceptance as part of how a person might deal with a major life loss, the five stages of grief. But it turns out that we go through them all the time for life's um, little disasters too. And so, in a year of pandemic where we've had dead battery after dead battery thrown at us and we've had to cope with it all, my first question is, are you stuck in one of those stages about one of the issues? Are you still bargaining with someone or something about what can be done? Are you constantly angry about something or someone? Are you just stuck in sadness? Or have you come to accept that? And my guess is for most people, there's parts of this that we've accepted and parts of it that we're still really challenged by. Um, so I figured out that I can work at home and it doesn't bum me out as much as I thought it would. I can pick up and deliver my parents' groceries. We've got kind of a routine for that. Um, I can get in and see them once a week. How much time am I willing to spend there? How much does that limit how many other people? We've all worked that sort of thing out to a certain degree for at least some of those areas of our life. And yet there's others where we're probably still unhappy or kind of stuck. And so, where does that term, the wisdom to know the difference between I've accepted what I cannot change and I'm found courage to change things that I need to change, or I'm looking for that courage, where does that wisdom come from? And I think that's where the wise men can help us, and Father Mike's message about paying attention to the tension. So if you think about the wise men, they were given this terrible situation, put in this terrible situation by Herod. When you find the king, come and let me know where he is so I can pay him homage. by which he did not mean pay homage, by which he meant imply harm or harm the child. So, they, and there, we think that this notion of they went home by another way was pretty obvious, and it's almost a surprise to us that God needs to tell them that in a dream. But if you're in an unfamiliar land and you have driven someplace, you pretty much consistently back yourself out the way you came in. So it's a big deal to have to figure out how to go home another way, especially when your major form of routing is looking at the night sky in a part of the world you're not all that familiar with. But nonetheless, um, if they had ignored the tension that they felt because of King Herod, and they would have endangered the child. Instead, they turned it to God, who gives them an elegant solution they hadn't thought of. And that's what we mean about seeking wisdom, is um, asking God for help. But the way they did that was because they paid attention to the tension they were feeling. And so that's the other way to figure out whether or not you should be accepting things or looking for courage to change them, is to pay attention to where you feel tension. So as the situation is currently played out, what are the things where I'm okay with it and I don't feel tension, and what are the areas of life where I'm still feeling a lot of tension about all of the pandemic, or is all of this alone time and that stirring up areas from previous life, pre-pandemic life, where things were unsettled and I never addressed them and they keep bothering me. And so maybe I need to look at how I can address them now, or is it something that I just need to close the door on that chapter of my life and move on? And so only God will be able to help you with that. But until you pay attention to the tension, you won't even know to ask God for the wisdom to address it. So think about your stages of grief. Think about whether you're stuck in any of them with regard to the pandemic, and ask um, for the grace to accept or the courage to change. And for other areas of life, look for tension and ask God for the wisdom for how to deal with it. So, with that, have a great first week of the year, everyone.